たせしました。
Potato chip fried rice. Now this is what cooking is all about. Lucian, did you enjoy the movie last night too? You want to make potato chip fried rice? Before we get stuck into this potato chip fried rice, thank you to this week's sponsor, NordVPN. NordVPN is the fantastic VPN service that keeps your data and your privacy safe. Not only does it keep your data and your privacy safe, my favorite feature about NordVPN is that you're able to swap your country's location by simple click of a button. And what's great about NordVPN is that with the simple click of a button, you have access to Netflix from around the world, and in particular, the UK. You see, the UK actually has Samurai Champloo available, and for all of you youngins, yes, I look at my demographics, Samurai Champloo needs to be watched by you. That kind of rhymed, just go with it. By logging into the UK servers, you have access to not only Samurai Champloo, but all of the Ghibli movies, so make sure you take advantage of this. I love Samurai Champloo, probably one of the best anime ever made. And if you use my link down below, they have an awesome Black Friday special where if you purchase a 2-year plan, you're gonna get 68% off plus 4 months for free. 4 months for free. 4. So to get that Black Friday special, click the link down below. That's nordvpn.com/chefpk for 68% off plus 4 free months. Now we do need to get a few things ready for this fried rice, and it is a pretty straightforward fried rice recipe. We're going to be using quite a bit of minced garlic for this. I'm using about 3 whole cloves that we're going to mince really nicely. So you have your garlic nice and minced up, just place it into a container to the side and move on to your white onion. I like using white onions for this because they have that nice bite to them, but you do want to mince these as well and place about 50 to 60 grams into your container. You're also going to need a nice handful of pea sprouts for this. Alternatively, you can use something like a bean sprout. That works really nice as well here. Now, of course, you're going to need some day-old rice. I have this rice sitting around because I always have rice sitting around, and you should always have rice sitting around because if you don't have rice sitting around, you can't make fried rice. I'm using between 250 and 300 grams worth of old rice. Now, you're also going to need 2 whole eggs for this. Now they did separate the eggs for this, so you're going to separate the whites and the yolks, and we're going to go ahead and whisk both of them up. The reason why these were actually separated is because she had used the egg whites as part of the soup, and then the egg yolk went into the rice, but since we're not making soup, we're still going to separate them and introduce both of them into the rice. I also separated 1 additional egg, so that way I had an egg yolk ready to go for the top of the rice. Now just to make everything look nice and pretty, I grabbed myself a little bit of a tray, placed all of my mise en place right onto the tray, so that way we had everything ready to go, except for, well, we still needed the potato chips. I found these really nice looking potato chips at a Wajimaya, so we're going to go with these. Now I am using my wok for this, but feel free to use any kind of regular non-stick pan. Hit your wok with a little bit of oil and get this thing ripping hot. You want to start getting this oil to where it starts smoking, and then you're actually going to throw out this oil. You're not going to use the oil that's been smoking because then it gets bitter. Now place your wok back on the heat, add in a little bit of fresh oil, and then hit it with your garlic first. You're going to start sauteing up your garlic, getting it nice and crispy, getting just a little bit of color on that garlic, and after about 30 seconds, hit this with your white onion and cook the onion until it is slightly translucent. You only need about 30 or 40 seconds on that. Now push your garlics and onions to one side, add in a little bit of oil, and then hit this with your egg white. This is going to allow you to kind of fry the egg white in the pan without really overcooking the onions or the garlic because of where the heat actually is sitting. Once you cook your egg white, place that over onto your onions and garlic, making a little bit of room for a little bit more oil, and then fry up your egg yolk. Remember, we are using both the egg yolk and the egg white separately in this, but if you're making the soup, save the egg white for the soup. Go ahead and saute this together until everything is fully incorporated, and once both the egg yolks and the egg whites look like they have fully cooked, this is when we're going to hit it with our rice. You want to make sure that your heat is always on high for this so that way you get the maximum amount of heat, and start breaking down the rice to release all those granules because after it sits and it's cold, it actually does clump up pretty hard. After 2 to 3 minutes of sauteing the rice, go ahead and hit this with a little bit of sesame oil, a little bit of black pepper, and then a pinch of salt. Saute this further until you get some nice crispiness on the rice, making sure that all of those bigger chunks of rice granules are broken up. Now the last things we're going to do is hit it with a little bit of soy sauce and then finally bust out your bag of potato chips. You can use Cheetos, Cheez-Its, Goldfish, you can use whatever you want for this, but we are making potato chip fried rice, so we're using potato chips. Crush up your potato chips by hand. You're only going to need maybe 1 or 2 handfuls for this, totally up to you, and get this fully incorporated. The goal is to add the potato chips in right before you're ready to serve this so the potato chips don't get overly soggy. You want them to have somewhat of a crunch to it. Finally, add in a little bit of your pea sprouts, saving some of them for garnish later, making sure to not overcook those pea sprouts. Give this a taste. Mine needed just a little bit more soy sauce and I was good to go. Grab yourself a small bowl and start start filling up this bowl as a mold. Alternatively, you can just throw everything into a giant bowl and just start eating it that way if you really want to. After you've packed your rice, go over to your nice plate and flip this guy right on top of your plate, letting the bowl sit there while you start garnishing with your potato chips. This will allow a lot of that heat to stay within the rice, and then when you're ready, go ahead and release the mold from the rice, indent the top with your finger, and place your yolk right on top of the rice, realizing that the yolk did break because it had kind of dried out. Scoop out that previous yolk, add in a fresh yolk, and there it is, potato chip fried rice from Weathering with You. And here it is. It's actually relatively simple to make, so that's kind of a nice thing. It almost feels like dirty rice, so just combine whatever you want into a wok and, you know, call it a day. Look at the jiggle of the yolk. I'm actually not a huge fan of raw yolk, but I love poached eggs. I love over easy eggs, so we're just gonna go for it. Hopefully the rice is still steaming hot, so here we'll break the yolk. Look at that. Just get all up in that rice. It'll actually be really nice once it's kind of mixed with the rice. And remember, the reason why you see raw yolks a lot of the time in Japanese cuisine is their standard of egg is a lot better than it is out here in the States. So, cheers. Yeah. The rice itself is fantastic, and then you get the flavors of a potato chip, which is really nice because potato chips do have a very like distinct flavor behind them, and I think it just kind of works, you know. There's really nothing you can go wrong with a fried rice like this. Let me know if you've ever incorporated potato chips or any kind of chips into your fried rice before. I actually really like potato chip chocolate chip cookies. Yes, those are fantastic, and yes, we should make them. If you want to support the channel directly, check out the links below on Patreon or where you can buy my books. My name is Chefpk. Get subscribed, and remember, keep playing with your food. This is probably the definition of playing with your food. I might go watch that movie again. We're gonna watch it again. I'll see you guys later.